gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to We Are Soccer. It's the greatest time of the year. The World Cup has started. We have finally here. Qatar versus Ecuador was one hell of a game. Okay, I can't go on. It was an alright game. Most of the tournament will not be like that, trust me. It was entertaining, I'll say that, but not quite what we expected. Lots to get to on that front. It is here, though. We have 64 games over 29 days. So right now we have 63 games left. We'll preview some of the games coming up later this week, especially the U.S. men's national team, who's playing tomorrow. Now, I believe the stat is, one of the boys on the other side of the room will correct me if I'm wrong, it's either 84 or 89% chances of going through to the knockout round if you win your first game. Ecuador is well on their way. It's very important for the U.S. men's national team, who play Wales tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, to win the first game. You're way more likely to go through to the knockout round if you win your first game. All right, let's talk about today's game a little bit. Qatar has had several years to get ready for this. They were shambles. That was a shambles of a display. They looked nervous. They looked shaken. They looked like they'd never actually met before. And they stepped on the field. The Qatari fans didn't make any noise for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, it's like something kicked in. They started getting into it. They started chanting. They tried the Viking clap, which it looked very awkward if you're asking me. And then in the second half, they all started leaving very early. Again, we'll break down the rest of this, but please, this first game is not gonna be the game that you remember from this World Cup. The opening ceremony is a bit cringeworthy. I don't think we need to talk about it. Bit awkward, bit strange, bit no, and no. We've got lots to talk to you about today. Let's talk about, again, the Ecuador versus Qatar game. Alcohol being banned 2 days before the tournament started. Shocker. Fake fans showing up in Qatar. U.S. men's national team captain announced. Was it who you expected? Are you happy with that selection? Benzema and Mane out injured before the tournament even starts. Ronaldo's fallout with Man United. We'll also have a debate with Brooks, Nate, and myself. The best U.S. lineup from the last 3 World Cups that the USA has been in. And then, if you've got a USA wonder kid, where's the best option? Where's the best route for him? Is it here in the MLS? Is it Bundesliga? Is it England? Somewhere in Europe? We'll talk about it. Ivan Toney caught betting. Oh boy, he's in some trouble. All right. Enough from me. Why don't we go to the other side of the room and talk to the boys at the kids' table? We've got Nate, we've got Brooks. How are you boys doing? Nate, how was your weekend been, my friend?
Coming in hotter than a tourist in Qatar in a tent hotel. We're here. We are happy. We are soccer. We are excited. And off to my left, a man who is real. More realer than a fake paid fan showing up to a game in Qatar, not knowing which country he's really supporting or speaking that language. Ladies and gentlemen, the man with the stats, the man with the best hair in all of Metro Detroit. Hide your daughters, mothers, because he is single and always willing to mingle. It is the Brooks.
Wow, that's quite an intro.
Quite the
Thank
intro,
you.
Brooks.
I appreciate that. Wow, you weren't kidding when you were going to do this every week.
I said it was going to happen every week. And I don't lie.
No, you don't. Thank you. I'm good. It was a weekend off of no scouting this weekend, so that was nice. But
So you were bored this all weekend?
A weekend out of no scouting. Technically, isn't that like a double? A weekend off from scouting, not a weekend off from no scouting.
Yeah, weekend off. No, but I'm still helping prepare for the Midwest Pro Combine coming up in December. So the soccer stuff never stops. So,
Never stops. And it started the greatest sporting event you've ever seen.
The Euros?
The World Cup. The Euros. I love the World Cup. I am a huge fan of the World Cup. It's when 32 teams, 32 nations send the best players that they have, and it's one hell of a competition.
Greg.
Now, there's lots to get to. Yes, you would like to chat there, Nate. What?
That's like, do you know any fan of soccer is like, yeah, that World Cup thing. Not a big fan.
I mean, in all honesty, I've had quite a few people in the last year tell me that they're not interested in the World Cup. They're more interested in Champions League every year because they think it's a better competition. I disagree. I trust me. I love the Champions League. Huge fan of Champions League, but the World Cup for me is the best of the best of the best, right? I mean, you've got to be good for a couple of years in qualifying to get through, and then once you get there, as Qatar found out today, people ain't gonna lay down and just let you walk over them, and you're not gonna, it's not an easy route. This is the thing, the tournament, the games that people dream of playing and just stepping foot on a field. It seemed like Qatar didn't really respond to that. The Ecuadorians they put on a hell of a display. We'll get to some of this, the incidents in the game, the offside, non-offside, whatever you want to say.
Probably should have paid him more.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that. I've heard a lot of we'll call it Middle Eastern people say, listen, we are sick and tired of hearing about the payment stuff and about all this, and there's some. We will stay away from it a little bit, but I will say that offsides call that happened 3 minutes in. Ener Valencia scored a goal. He was adjudged to be offside by a leg or a knee. Either way, it could have gone either way. We are now using special, updated, technological VAR. Listen, that's great. If we're going to use an updated VAR, just like with the VAR that we all know it's crap, give us a fucking explanation of what's happening. It wasn't good enough. There was so many debates going on online before we got a real explanation of what happened that the memes were flying so quick. It was horrendous. I listen. If the guy's knee is offside, again I'll say it. I don't like it. I think it's body mass or majority of body, and not just a freaking leg or knee.
That's not the rule, though.
See, that's the thing.
the rule
is if there's any body part that you can score with.
Is he gaining an advantage? Position. That's the question. In that moment, was he actually gaining an advantage?
That's the thing, right?
I don't know if he actually was. If the ball was played through, maybe, but I don't know.
Well, that's up to the interpretation of the ref, like all calls. And honestly, I looked at it and said, yeah, I guess it's offside, whatever. Sure. I don't see what the big hubbub is.
They scored later. They were going to score.
Yeah,
it wasn't really a game.
It had zero impact on the game. So
I just think you don't like VAR, so you want to complain.
No. Here's the thing, though. Goal difference could come into play.
Could
come into play later at the end of the round robin in the group.
We could never see the end of this World Cup because aliens could invade us and then enslave us all. These are things that all could happen. I don't know if they will yet.
Goal difference is a big difference in the end of group play.
Then score your other chances. Yeah. If you miss one because of a blown VAR call, score more goals when you have the chances.
You guys are missing my point. It was probably offside. It was probably offside. Absolutely agree. Probably offside. Yeah. What was lacking was the explanation from VAR. It took about 20 minutes for that to filter through what happened. There was nothing on TV in any channel, any station, any language. So every single person's going, even the commentators. It was offside. How was it offside? Was it Ener Valencia, the man who scored the goal, was offside, or was it the guy behind the goalie? We all understand. Listen, all of us, most of the people now who've played this sport for more than 10 to 15 years understand that the goalie is not. He's a defender. It's the second to last defender. We get it. Understood. That's not what was being. We all know that rule. Was it the man behind the goalie because the goalie came out and flapped? Did the goalie touch it? Was it the Ecuadorian player who pushed the ball forward? Either way, I can see another shit show with VAR in this tournament, as has been in EPL. But it didn't get off to a hot start this game because that was in the third minute.
You just need to have more Germans and MLS guys run on this show. What's the problem here? Brooks, do you have any issues? I don't have any issues. We're fine.
I agree.
We're fine.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree. But that's not who's running it. This game
best referees in the world, huh? Where do they ref, Nate? Which leagues?
Not the Premier League.
I know, definitely not the best league in the world, the Premier League. I mean, apparently there's secondary refs in the Premier League.
So we got most players in the World Cup are from the EPL.
Our viewers that are in our group tell us, do the secondary guys ref in the Premier League? Tell us, we're the best guys ref because apparently it's not in the EPL.
So John's coming in here with, he said they had to dub the graphic to show offside. That's why it took so long. So I don't know if that's true or not, but he sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
I've heard that several times. People are like, well, the graphic looks a bit odd. It looks like it may have
It is weird.
It does look a little fuzzy, right?
Yeah.
A little strange. How can we have all that technology, but we come up with this fuzzy look of when and it doesn't. It looks like the ball has actually, it's a second or two late after the ball's been touched. It's very strange. Either way, I will agree with both Nate and Brooks on this.
Ooh.
Probably inconsequential.
Ooh.
Inconsequential. The game ended, I think, probably how it should have. Ecuador probably could have had another goal or two. It looked like they took their foot off the gas in the second half a little bit. The first goal, the penalty that came through, possibly a red card, I've heard, but I looked at it and said the yellow card's probably fair. The goalie attempted at the ball. But
I think it's tough to throw cards in the opening match like that. It's first game, and it's tough there. I will say this though.
He threw him a card.
Reds. I mean reds, like instant reds.
Well, that was not a red card to me. That was totally a yellow card.
Agreed. I 100% think yellow card for sure. I like that he gave it. I heard a couple of people saying no, it should be a red. Listen, I think he made a play at the ball and he tripped the. Yes. He might have been the last man, but he made a play at the ball, and that's all that counts. But agree. Nate, sorry to cut you off.
So I have to say that I think we have a winner for the best name in our group, period. Sterling Wilson.
Oh!
That is a name. That is an awesome name.
And a Villa fan.
That's great, but I mean,
no wonder iTunes and everything.
I don't know if he's a international spy or just a superhero, but with Sterling Wilson, he comes in saying, let's go. U.S. men's national team finally healthy, huge tournament for this young team. So he's rooting for them, ready to go. So that's good to hear from him.
Second youngest team in the tournament, by the way. I think again, I was asked today by someone, what would a successful tournament for the U.S. men's national team be? I would like to know what everybody online watching. What do you guys think? What is going to be a successful tournament? For me, the U.S. men's national team's successful tournament means getting out of the group stage and competing in that first knockout game. Do we really have a chance at winning this?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. What? There's some real big boys in this tournament. I don't think we have a chance of winning. But, hey, man, if we can compete and show that we can compete, we're setting it up for 4 years from now, 3.5 years from now, when the tournament comes here. Nate?
We're 100%. I have the top 5. We can wait for this, but there's 5 crucial and key reasons that no one could definitively argue on why this team will win the whole thing. It's coming home. Soccer is coming home.
To the real country.
Yes.
Not to the fake one, England.
It's ours now, bitches.
And soon the microphones on the other side of this room are going to be cut off.
Yes.
It is coming home to England. I may be wearing a U.S. men's national team jersey because I also support them because I live here, but I am English and I do support England. And I think it's coming home and England are going to win it.
All the time is England have won it in the past.
But, all right, I do want to ask you guys on the other side of the room
coming
here.
up in Germany.
Nate, Brooks, what is a successful tournament for this UN's men's national team? What, honestly and realistically, what would success look like for this team?
Out of group play, and if they can, I think that's successful. That keeps, I think, Greg Berhalter in for the second cycle if they want to keep him. Mm-hmm. And anything more is just even better for me.
Anything after that's just a bonus.
Yeah, it's a bonus. It's a bonus. You match up against Netherlands possibly, or I forgot what the other options were for if they get second or first place in the group, but. Anything outside of that first knockout game they win, it's just even better for the sport and helps it grow even more in the United States. So, I don't know. He thinks they're going to win it all. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they have enough.
I know.
You know? Okay.
I know.
Okay. Go ahead, my friend.
Danny Price agrees with you. He said they have a very good chance of getting out of the group. Yeah. Sterling definitely agrees with you. Yeah. He says they have a good chance of getting out of the group. I've always had a different take. I've said it the whole time, so I'm going to say continue staying true to my take, which is 2026 is you're going all in on that. They have several, I think 90% of the squad will be available for 2026. Yeah. To me, I think it's very important that these guys get experience, get play in. This is a very hard group. I think it's harder than a lot of people realize. I think Wales has something to prove. Right. Wales is going to fly in on emotions of not being there for 50 years. Do not discount Iran. being that they're climate acclimated, many of those players, and I think that's a massive in a tournament like this.
Yep.
So I do not view this. I don't view those two teams as being slouches. England will draw against because that's what we do, and they've never beat us in a competitive competition ever in the history of ever. That's a fact. Competitive, not a friendly. Go ahead, look it up. Google machines go.
We're
It's
all
a
very
fact.
aware of that stat.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to give you another stat that was broken today.
And I'm going to give you my last stat.
He's throwing stats.
We have more German players that have dual national German citizenships on our team than England, and Germany has won more World Cups than England. Yeah. Fact.
Again, his microphone will be cut off shortly, folks.
Fact.
Don't worry, I'll take care of it. What happened today? Ecuador beating the host nation, Qatar, 2-0. This is the first time in the history of World Cup soccer that the host nation lost the opening game.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. It's the first time ever that has happened. So the fact that Nate just threw out that USA has never lost to England
it's just a jab.
in a competitive. It is an absolute fact. Right, Nate,
it's a jab.
100%. But next, 5 days from now, we'll see how.
I
that
can't
works
wait.
out.
It's going to be 0-0. I'm gonna lay it down for you. It's 0-0, right? 90th minute. All of a sudden, a cross goes in, and up comes one Harry Maguire to head it. But
into his own goal.
He's supposed to clear it, and he clears it into the net. USA wins 1-0. Manchester United fans laugh. England fans cry. And we all go home happy.
Yeah.
I don't think
Harry Maguire!
I don't think he'll make it back to England if that happens. He would not make it at all.
Harry Maguire! I can't wait.
Before we get to England versus USA, they both have opening matches. Tomorrow, England take on Iran, and the USA take on Wales.
I will say this.
Both tough games. It's your first game of your tournament, so no matter what it is, who you're playing, it's tough.
So let's talk about heat and elements, right?
Go for it.
So heat and elements, usually I believe, unless my Google research has failed me back in the past, normally your hottest is around like 4 p.m. and then it slightly cools as the day goes on, right? Mm-hmm. That's where the peak sun hits, and that's usually when your hottest times are. Yep. Guess what England has? Majority of their games are around that 4 p.m. time slot, right? Which is going to be very tough. USA, because of rigging probably, or some happen chance, all their games are at 2 p.m. with the time zone difference. They're all starting later. It's going to be much cooler when they enter that field. That's a huge advantage. Right. That's a huge advantage.
That's a good point. The heat, obviously, it's going to take its toll on the English players compared to the Americans who will be playing later in the day. Absolutely.
Did you see the shots from training camp where they were like gasping in front of like the cooling fan? It's going to be insane.
Yeah. I did see that. Actually, so I want to talk about this real quick. I came across some interesting stats today about Qatar.
That's his
host country,
by the way.
Did
you apologize?
Am I jumping in and doing stats? I apologize, Brooks.
Never.
I know.
Never do that again.
All right, so here we go. I got some stats. This is pretty interesting. I heard none of this today on the game, so this should be new to probably most of you. The country of Qatar is so small that it could fit into the United States 852 times. Wow. There are also 48 states that are bigger than the entire country of Qatar. It has a population of around 2.8 million people. They export oil and natural gas to the tune of around $40 billion annually. Only 8 stadiums are being used for the entire World Cup. One of them was previously built before the bid, so 7 are brand new. And they're all within around 90 miles of each other and all very easy to get to. There's an underground tube system that links all of them, actually all the major cities where they're at together. The 7 new stadiums that were built will be deconstructed after the World Cup is completed, and they'll be repurposed as shopping centers and hotels. It's estimated that Qatar, we've all heard this, estimated that Qatar paid $220 billion on the infrastructure and the bidding and all of that for the stadiums and everything to host this tournament. The World Cup will generate approximately $20 billion in revenue for Qatar. So they will lose a lot of money, but it's part of a major plan for 2030, and Qatar is building up to that, where they are building stadiums, bringing new people in, and there's a whole sports thing they're doing, which I kind of lost.
Sports washing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on as well.
Okay, so you've complained about VAR, and
VAR is absolutely crap. We all know it's bullshit, right?
I know. You've read off stats. Are we actually going to talk about the game itself?
Nope.
No.
Well, we talked about the incident, right?
There was an incident. Are we going to say that Qatar? Are we going to talk about
2 goals?
Yes.
Let's go. What do you want to talk about?
We talked about Qatar
and Everton are probably going to pay a sum of £50 million to get Enner Valencia.
Okay.
Because they like to buy anybody and everybody who starts out and scores a goal in the World Cup.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Everton fans.
I mean, we're going to talk about Qatar can only play 4-3-3 and can't deviate from anything else because they have a La Masia former academy coach that's never coached a professional game in his life that can't deviate in his plan.
And his whole
staff. Did you see how sweaty that guy looked? Oh my God, this isn't going right.
And can we talk about Ecuador maybe has a chance with the physicality they possess?
They got to get past Senegal and Netherlands. It's not going to happen.
I knew one of you was going to come with this Ecuador. They look really good.
I'm not saying they were terrific.
Ecuador were made to look good by a really shitty Qatar team. I'm telling you right now, I think Ecuador come up against a half-decent Senegal or half-decent Netherlands team, Nate, and they will get blown away 3-0.
I agree with you, and I agree with you, and here's why. Yes, made look good with a shitty team.
Sure.
Yes, they're a lot better than that they are. If they're in a different group, I think they're going forward. But they're not getting past Senegal and Netherlands.
That's fair. But this goes to my point, like we've always talked about, and we've debated with the men's national team about how do you play and whatnot. Everyone wants to play sexy soccer. Everyone wants to play possession.
Sexy soccer.
Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing the wrong type of soccer with the wrong players they have. They don't have any athletes. Their soccer IQ on that team is not good enough to play what that coach wants to do, and he's setting them up for failure. And that's the worst way you can go into there for your country to try to even compete and get out of the group. I mean, I'm not saying they have big boys that are physical that are going to battle and whatnot, but you got to come up with a better plan that's better for your team and players to go.
They had 4 years to prepare for this game.
Yes, they had 4 years.
Hey, time flies when you're having fun. That's all I got to say, all right? So
I'm not saying they're going to win the whole thing or get out of the group, but, give your country something. I mean, your country, I'm not going to go into everything, the politics and everything, how they got the World Cup and whatever. I don't want to do that anymore. But you got the World Cup. You need to show up. You know what I mean? You need to show up. Aren't they the first team ever of the Open?
Yes, they're the first team ever to lose their.
And they look like shit. Yep. They didn't even put up a good game. So yeah.
Here's a nice stat for you.
Yeah.
Qatar had 3 offside called go against them today. Do you know how many touches they had in the Ecuadorian box?
3.
2.
Oh,
yes.
So close.
2. Twice they touched the ball in Ecuador's 18-yard box, but they had 3 offside. They had more offside calls go against them than touches in the box. Unbelievable. And Brooks, you're 100% right. I don't know why they thought they could go and play sexy soccer and play 4-3-3 because they could not. They were absolutely manhandled, outclassed by an Ecuadorian team. It looked, I'll be really honest, it looked like a JV team playing against a varsity team in high school. That's how bad it is.
Because they're like most majority.
Ecuador's going to get shown up.
Do you want me to take the shot? You want me to just take the shot right now? Because they're like most youth coaches around anywhere in the country or wherever that think they can do this, but they don't understand the players they have and what they need to do.
Ooh.
That's what they have. They have a coach that doesn't understand the game.
I agree. Yeah. Well, I don't want to say he doesn't understand the game, but he set up the wrong game plan. He's had a lot of time to prepare, and I don't think he did a very good job.
Uno momento, por favor. Is that am I in that? Am I the most too? Or
no, you're a different type of coach, like you've explained to me.
Sexy coach.
I'm just saying though, there are a lot of guys like I'm gonna play. Well, you don't have the caliber of players to play that way. I can't tell you how many games I've watched where I'm just like, what? Why? He's not in the right spot. What are you doing? Yeah.
What's your game plan, Nate? Oh well, we're crap, and I'm just gonna punt and chase my way out of this shit. Here we go, baby. But honestly, you do have something that is a decent point. When you look at some of the U.S. men's national teams, not a jab at the U.S. men's national teams in the past, but a lot of them didn't go out there to play sexy soccer.
No,
they knew they couldn't. They ran out with
They knew what they had.
Yeah.
This is the way they played. I know everyone doesn't like that. Yeah. And everyone wants to be FC Barcelona and Pep Guardiola and tiki-taka shit. Like, listen, I like tiki-taka stuff. It's beautiful. It's interesting at times. But you're in a World Cup. You're there to win. Like, go. like play what's to your strength and just do it.
So interesting. According to John, Qatar's men's team lost to U12 Farmington Soccer Club team in a scrimmage. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Kurt's coming in with embarrassing how they play till the end. Guys, there's a lot of interaction on Facebook, so I'm trying to get as many as I can. Yeah. But it's some really funny stuff right now. Yeah. VJ, money can't buy skill. They tried. they allegedly. Allegedly.
Oh, and I will say, hold on, real quick. Enner Valencia did score the 2 goals, and he actually went off injured. It looked like he twisted his knee a little bit earlier in the game. He went off injured. Ecuador better hope that he gets that knee right, because he is. I don't know if many folks know, the top scorer in the Turkish league. He plays for Fenerbahce. A good player, knows how to put the ball in the net. He's the really only hope moving forward.
What kind of coach takes a top scorer from a Turkish league? Only a moron would do that and have him succeed in a World Cup. Thanks, Greg.
Anyway,
all right.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Try.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you, Brooks. The game overall in the second half actually came a little bit. It got a little bit sloppy. They brought new players into the game. It just got a little sloppy overall. Qatar just didn't put up as much of a fight as we had thought. The fans started leaving just after halftime after being down 2-0, and then by the end of the game, a lot of the fans were gone. It was so odd to see empty seats in a World Cup game. It was 2-0. Trust me, Ecuador's prone to mistakes and doing stupid things. So the ball could have gone in the back of their own net, and that would have been 2-1, and the game's on our hands. But the Qatari fans had left. Just bizarre. I guarantee all the executives in the suites up top drinking the alcohol were still there because they are still serving alcohol to the executives in the suites up top.
Take that, peasants.
Just not to the peasants down below or in the fan zones.
Yes.
I do have an exclusive. You know the big cruise ships that are now docked. I believe there's 2 cruise ships that are docked alongside.
Aren't the England wives on one of them?
I read. The England wives are on one.
They have one.
The WAGs, as we call them, the wives and girlfriends.
Yes.
We have. We Are Soccer.
Cruise ship.
Peep.
Insider?
We've got an insider, guys.
Oh, boy.
He took a picture.
Aaron Bird?
No, Aaron Bird is here. Aaron Bird, Next Level Training, is here.
Bull.
Probably giving instructions to Kellen Acosta and the rest of the men's national team how to play, because that's how good Aaron Bird is. But, hold on. We have an insider. He's on one of the cruise ships. They are serving alcohol there. He said he's having a great time, except for the English bastards who keep chanting and screaming, and he's not too happy with that. But we have an insider. I'm asked for more pictures. He's given me a really nice picture of the city and the cruise ship that he's on. More is coming. That should be fun. We have another couple of Facebook group members from Team Waz that are also traveling to Qatar and watching a lot of the men's national team games. So we, if
who's staying in the tents?
Is
anyone staying in the tents?
So we know.
Boo.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
But are we really surprised that the alcohol ban came down 2 days before the tournament starts? Is anybody really surprised?
No, I mean, it's just it's a cultural thing they don't do there. You know what I mean? So it's just, it is what it is, right? It
is what it is. I mean, can you believe? How do you think Budweiser feels? They paid $75 million a year to
probably
be
should have thought about that one
care.
Before they chucked the money at the national team and everything.
They don't care. They're not going to be impacted. They're making more revenue and jokes and off this than anything else. And any lost revenue from sales will be made up by the billions that the Qatarian people make. I don't think it's a big deal. You don't think that they're going to just cut them a check and say, sorry about your looks, they're champs, especially unless there was something written in the contract saying they could do this. And who knows, maybe there are, but I'd be surprised if that slipped by anyone. I don't think it's a big deal. I think a lot of people are making a big deal out of nothing. Quite frankly, I think there's other things that they should be making more of a big deal out of it than this. My only thing is, they should have never said it was going to happen from the start. They should have said said this is our culture, this is our beliefs, and this is what we're doing, and then leave it. And honestly, outside the other alleged shady, whatever things going on with it, you got to respect other people's cultures.
Sure.
People can't come into America and demand that we change the way we do things, and we shouldn't go into another country and demand that they should the way they change. How they do things. Yes, I understand it's the world's game, but you know what? doesn't mean that you can push and prod and say you have to do stuff that
Yeah,
other people inherently
I agree.
disagree with.
I agree 100% with you, Nate. I think the big issue right now is we've heard all along from the Qataris that
They should have did it from the beginning.
Respect our culture. And I think, as we'll say, the Western world, I think we are kind of respecting the culture, right? I think we're going over there, we understand. A lot of us are just in it for the sport and the entertainment of the sport. But then all of a sudden, to say we are, they have said all along, could alcohol be allowed, and then 2 days before this tournament starts. I think it's just the timing, right? Oh, no alcohol. What was FIFA going to do? What's the rest of the world going to do? Oh, no, the tournament's off. I mean, I think it was done on purpose. I think it was premeditated, not happy, but 100% right, Nate. This is something we're going to get upset about over everything else, over the 7,000 people that have reportedly migrant workers been killed building these stadiums. You're right. It's not that big of a deal. And as I said, there are places to buy alcohol, as our insider has stated there. But again, just the timing of it, it's like it was premeditated and not a good thing.
So there are rumors saying that I was bought out by Qatar to state that statement. And John, that's not true, but I won't be here next week because I have to jump on my private jet to go to my yacht to watch some games.
Yeah.
That I somehow won in a contest.
That only I entered. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I will say this. You know the old saying in marketing, right? Bad publicity is still good publicity. Yeah. Budweiser's still going to win. They put out some hilarious tweets. Their social media accounts had some good old fun with this. I definitely saw some funny things from their Twitter account that came out. Good publicity for them, even though they're not allowed to sell to the peasants over there.
I like this was awkward.
Later it was deleted, right?
That was the best.
Yeah. They're just, it's hilarious.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are they going to do? I mean, they knew that, right? They had to know something like this was going to pop up. And
I mean, they did this when I was in St. Denis. They did this with, the Euros that, was brought to you by Heineken. And we went in the stadium and they had, I don't know. They were not. They had some beer that was mixed in with some stuff that literally had 1 or 2%. We couldn't get drunk off it. We tried so hard. It was impossible. I think we became, as my buddy said that I met down there, he goes, I think I'm getting less drunk drinking this. I'm becoming more hydrated. So,
again, I think it was just a fact that 2 days before, right? That it is what it is. One of the funny things I did see this past week was all the fans showing up and chanting in the street and marching. They all looked alike. Every single one of the fans looked alike. And I can tell you right now, the England fans, if you've ever seen England fans away at a Euro or at a World Cup, there's a bunch of fat white guys who rip their shirts off and they've got displaying tattoos all over the place, the big Union Jack and the big lion and the 3 lions. Trust me, that's English fans. These fans that were reportedly English fans are having drums. They all had England jerseys on. Go, England, go. I'm sorry, that's not English fans. I'm calling it now. Fake fans. Those were hired actors, and I believe the same people a couple of hours later put on Brazil jerseys and did the same thing. Banged drums that said, go Brazil, go Brazil. And if anybody paid really close attention to these fake fans, not a single woman was anywhere to be seen. Not a single one. It was all men who looked very alike. Fake fans.
Is it because women don't like the Men's World Cup? What do you mean?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Would have been awesome is if they tried to get them to do the chants and they got it completely wrong, and they're instead of it's coming home, they'd be like, it's homecoming, it's homecoming. It would have been great. That would have been just awesome in every sense of it.
Every sense.
I mean, this is not new. I mean, China did stuff like this in the Olympics where they kind of had fake cities and stuff like that, and they threw things over things, for the Winter Olympics. And this is what happens when you kind of go to a place like that.
But do they really think we're dumb enough to believe that oh my gosh, look, the fans are there. They're having a good time. It's social media. There are cameras everywhere.
So-
this isn't just like a little news report that blurs
No,
that we're seeing across
but
in other countries. Do they really think we're stupid enough to believe that?
It's not that. They're trying to look good, right? They understand. They put a lot of money in this, and unfortunately, they're looking really bad because of the stuff that's not quite finished and built and the other things. And they're trying to, I mean, they're like any country that hosts things like this, you want to look good. So they're trying their best to look good. I honestly, again, out of all the other things going on, them having paid people to kind of rally support and kind of like make things exciting and look good, what's wrong with that? Who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares?
So I'll be honest, until you brought it up, I had no clue. This fake fan thing. That's just my one comment from this.
I've got nothing.
And I really don't care. And, honestly, I really don't give a shit, to be honest with you.
You did not. Okay.
I wish I could have been a fake fan. That would have been awesome.
Saying.
I don't know what to do.
It would have been great if I could have been a fake fan. I would have been like in the crowd just yelling MLS.
Nate, how much would it cost in 2026?
I would be a fake fan for free, and I'd be the best fake fan you've ever run into.
Qatar, Ecuador, or I don't know.
Give me
Senegal. We're gonna pay
Yes.
you. How much are you gonna get? You're gonna do it
Free.
for free.
You just pay for my expenses. I would be the best fake fan there is in the world. Ever. Like I
don't disagree with that.
It would be
You
so
wouldn't be a
good
fake fan.
unless you had me do England, and then I couldn't.
I do want to ask. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Everybody who's watching us online,
Let
did you? Am I the only one who noticed that all the fans were the same and they weren't actually like doing what fans who come to a country normally do?
No, Craig.
Like
I think
Brazil
the
has
news pointed that out.
and they march and they have these great chants and they juggle. The English fans are drunk and they're throwing things around and they take their shirts off to display their tattoos and they're big, fat, and white. Am I the only one? No, I guess the other half of this room didn't notice. And now that they do, they don't care.
No.
It is what it is.
No.
You noticed?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So you noticed. I noticed, but someone else in the room didn't. Okay, gotcha. Okay, it's all right, Brooks. We'll catch you up. You're young.
He's a busy stat man.
He is a busy
stat man. Wee ba do ba do ba.
We
Ba ba do ba do
we gotta
ba.
get the Batman theme and change it to Statman.
No,
I like
just
that.
no. Scat
I like
man.
that.
Switch to stat man.
Yeah.
I just did it for you.
Yeah.
It
All
plays.
right. News came out yesterday. The U.S. men's team took a vote. Greg Berhalter and his staff put it to the squad and said, "You tell us, who do you want to be this team's captain?" The winner, unanimous winner. I don't know.
Jordan Peacock.
No, yeah, they should have voted Peacock.
Jordan Morris.
Tyler Adams, 23-year-old Tyler Adams, Leeds player, general in the middle. He is now the captain. It's not Captain America as we know him, Christian Pulisic. My vote went to Walker Zimmerman, just saying. But it is Tyler Adams. Boys, what do we think about Tyler Adams as U.S. men's national team captain?
Yep.
Good with it?
Yep.
I'm good with it.
He's going to handle situations well. He's a leader. He's grown up very fast. I mean, he's gone through some BS at RB Leipzig. I don't want to say BS, but he had to ride the bench for a while after he was starting. He's back in at Leeds. The kid's born leader, and I'm the one. Give me a leader that maybe isn't our best player. I'm not a big person of like, oh, Pulisic should wear the armband just because he's the best player on the team.
Well, leaders are not your best players, and
Exactly.
Pulisic doesn't. No offense to Pulisic, but he doesn't take me as a leader. Yeah. The only other guy that I was like, So first thing, great for Adams. Don't disagree with it.
Yep.
It's fine. The only other guy that I thought would have got it, that I don't know if better would be the right word, but Tim Ream. Just because...
So one of the two center backs, either Ream or...
Yeah, just because, Tim Ream is the captain for Fulham. He is a veteran guy. He is a senior guy. Yeah. I would have thought that maybe Ream would have got it because of those things. Yeah. I'm not saying that Ream, I can't believe it. Why didn't he get it? Blah. No, I'm not saying that. It was just like, it doesn't surprise me Adams got it. Yeah. Well-deserved. I'm surprised Ream didn't, but it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I think either one of those options would have been fine.
VJ says, not always your best player. Craig was Craig was captain our senior year. I didn't vote for his ass.
VJ, striking low like a snake.
Wow, he's gotten shots at all of us tonight.
But
that's
he took a fat pick of me, by the way.
He was the best player, though, right? The way I read that was, I was the captain, but even though I was the best player, I shouldn't have been captain. That's the way I'm reading it. Just clarifying there.
Yeah.
He'll clarify, and all of a sudden.
VJ said you're crap.
By the way, VJ was the person who took a picture of Nate in the middle of a soccer field,
Eating.
shoveling food in his mouth.
Yeah.
I got in a lot of trouble for that. Thanks. That's awesome. That's awesome.
He did
in
that
the
before the
wilds.
show today, too, guys.
Yeah. It's
he
weird.
shovels food as well
I
a lot.
eat.
Yeah.
You're like, who would have known? Like that took me by surprise too. People are like, this guy eats. But to correct that, everyone's like, oh, he's coaching while he's eating. No, I wasn't. I was actually watching other sessions.
You would never do that. I know
No,
that.
no.
You respect your players and the parents and their time.
Not that. I'm busy yelling at them and can't eat and yell at the same time because food goes everywhere.
I was trying to give you credit, but you just put that right down the tube there, dude. I was trying.
Oh,
Nate
I should have
couldn't get
lied.
out of his own way.
Respect.
You know what? The funny thing was, though, I mean, it's almost prompting other people to take pictures of us three out in and around the community, which
I'm not wearing a shirt anymore.
No one's going to get me. No one's going to get me.
I'm like a game of tag. It is. No one's going to catch me. I'm the stat man.
The first person to do that, I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Oh, you heard it here first. Take a picture of Brooks out in the wild, away from the studio.
I'm going to go outside right now, wait, and so catch him walking outside and be like, I did it.
That's like a little fun game.
I'll Venmo you the $5 or $6 for the Starbucks coffee or whatever.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Just like Bigfoot, Brooks doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Bigfoot does exist.
A hologram.
So does Brooks.
God, now everyone's going to be like, where the hell is he?
Back to the game at hand here. So we got U.S. men's national team. U.S. team takes on Wales tomorrow at 2 o'clock. The game, I believe it's on Peacock or FS1 and FS1. 2 o'clock, Wales. This is going to be a tough game. As we said, I believe it's around 84% of the time you win your first game in the World Cup, in the group stages, you will go through. 84% of the time, you will go through. You will progress if you win that first game. Now, in the last 3 World Cups that the USA has competed in, that's, what was that? So we missed 18. 14, 10, 6, and I think it's 4, so I think it's the last 4. The USA has either been scored on or scored a goal in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is a crazy stat, actually.
Yeah.
So 4 games, 4 different tournaments, 4 goals in the first 10 minutes. So if you're a betting man, you may want to put a bet down on the USA or a goal to be scored in that game in the first 10 minutes. The USA needs to come out strong. They need to come out strong. They need to lock down defensively. Here's what I say in the first 5 minutes of every game. When I'm coaching, I tell my teams, 1, get a shot on goal. Get any shot on goal that you can on the opposing team's goal. 1, don't let them have a shot on goal. Nothing. And in the middle of the field, lay a hard tackle. That has to happen. I think all 3 of those things need to happen for the U.S. men's team tomorrow in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game. I disagree, agree? I mean, they got to lock it down for the first 10 minutes tomorrow, boys. Because if they don't, it could get ugly. We are such a young team that an early goal against us could very well rattle the boys, and it could be over before it starts.
I was going to say, don't overthink it, because here's the thing. This is probably, if you put it on paper, they're a young team, but this is probably one of the more accomplished club-wise teams that we have.
100%
so these guys have played in big games before. So I wouldn't put it past them.
Those are club games. This is the World Cup
but
now.
the Champions League is...
There's much more pressure in the group stages of the World Cup.
Never said there wasn't pressure. I'm just saying that these guys are not walking in off the street. These guys, you want to talk about pressure? How about, hey, not qualifying 4 years prior and then all eyes on you to get it done?
I agree.
So,
but now it's even bigger because you just qualified and people have really, taken shots at you, the coach and the players, for not showing up sometimes and getting things wrong. And you need to get it right. And the biggest thing for me in this Wales-USA game, I'm going to tell you right now, is if they man-mark the midfielders and they can't play through the midfield, what are they going to do? What's plan B? What's Greg Berhalter going to do?
Do we really think that Greg Berhalter is going to have
What is he going to
B?
deviate from? And this is the same thing with the Qatari coach, like I said. Does he have the brain power and the IQ to deviate the plan? Greg
because
Berhalter?
you got all the skill in the world, and this team's going to smack them. And I agree with Jeff Shook, 2-1 win tomorrow. Blow your mind.
I like that prediction.
It's a good prediction by Shookie.
I do want everybody's prediction right now on the live viewing here.
I said I like that prediction. Nate's prediction?
I want Nate.
6-0.
Everybody watching. Who said
6-0.
Who?
Me. I think USA is going to come out. Want to know why?
Yeah.
Want to know why, Craig?
Yep.
You ready? Because I believe. That's right, Brooks. I believe that. What's that, Craig?
Oh,
I
God.
believe that we will. Huh, Brooks? Win. I believe that fight and play hard. That's what that one guy said from Seattle, right? Fight and play hard. We got this.
Now,
we got this.
Now you're going to hear someone say, listen, I
got
just hope
this.
everybody has fun. Nobody gets hurt.
I just hope they all enjoy being there.
I do want to see people's predictions, though. We'll have an official thread probably starting late tonight, early tomorrow morning on the Facebook group. Let us know your thoughts. What's the prediction? Is it USA going to win? Are they going to lose? Is it going to be a draw? I honestly think it could be a draw, which won't hurt us. But a 1-1-1 at the end of the group, then goal difference comes into play, as we talked about earlier.
Kurt, who agrees with me, by the way. Kurt Johnson
did he say 6-0? Kurt, are you jumping on the 6-0?
No, he says 4-2. Respectable.
4-2?
Alan,
Holy moly.
Alan says 1-1. He's wrong. Mark says 3-0 USA. Halfway there, Mark. Living on a prayer.
So a 0-0 or 1-1 for you, Craig?
I'm going to go
0.
1-1. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Wales actually score first.
It could be a super ugly game.
Yeah, it could get ugly.
I think a young team in this weather conditions
Can I make my prediction?
is going to run all over the place.
You think so?
No.
You think it's going to be a high scoring game?
I don't think it's going to be high. No.
4-2.
It's going to be. I'm with Shook.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a 2-1.
Yeah,
It's going to be.
yeah.
It's going to be somewhere like that, or 6-0. But anyways, I think USA with the younger squad is gonna be a lot more buzzing around and active. Go ahead, Brooks.
I agree.
Let's go 3-1 USA.
Yes, yes,
I like
Brooks.
it. I like it. I like it.
Welcome to the
I
dark
like
side.
it.
Yeah.
I like it.
He believes.
It's gonna be a tough game, boys. I mean, listen.
Question:
for
Who starts?
There is no easy game in the World Cup. Who starts?
Because in the back line next to Zimmerman.
Oh,
the rumors are Zimmerman and Ream. That's what's been coming out for the last 3 or 4 days. Zimmerman and Ream in the back line. That's the rumors.
And then it'll be interesting.
We all believe in that.
When the England game comes, who starts between those two? Who starts next to Zimmerman?
That'll be interesting.
I think you have to find consistency.
Yeah, I think center backs
as long as
are
they
the
do okay. As long as Tim Ream and Zimmerman do well together, I think you start them again. As long as they do well.
Can Tim Ream keep up like he does in the Premier League? Yep. I think so.
I think so.
I think so.
I wonder if you have to go Zimmerman and Cameron Carter-Vickers with the athletes that England will throw out there.
But I get the athlete aspect and I understand what you're saying, but Ream does it every week.
I'm gonna ask.
We're jumping the gun, but
I'm gonna ask you a question right now.
It all depends.
Cameron
Who knows?
Carter's Vicker and Zimmerman start in the back against England. Do you not think that English team would rip apart that center back pairing? You don't think so?
No, because you need probably someone that's going to, I mean, there's going to be a lot of movement with England. There's a lot of athletes they have up top. I mean, you need to have someone that's going to cover ground because Tyler Adams can't do everything. So what do? Then you change formation from a 4-3-3 maybe to a 4-2-3-1, or do you play a 3-back at that point? He's got some decisions to be made because depending on how this result goes against Wales, he's got some decisions that he's got to have some hard decisions.
My prediction is if England and USA win their respective games, you're going to see that's where you're going to see a real boring 0-0, 1-1 tie game between USA and England.
I think those teams don't want to draw. Someone wants
to
win
want
that
it.
game.
I just think both are not going to want to get drop points to the other, and it's just going to happen.
I want to let me flip back here for a second. I want to point someone out real quick. Sterling Wilson, one of your I'm going to call him your guy now, Nate.
He's my guy.
He says 3-1
He's a villain,
USA.
man.
He wants Zimmerman and Long to start. I'm going to disagree with you there, Sterling. And then Tom Eller 2-1 USA. If you guys don't know who Tom Eller is, one of the best players ever played in the state of Michigan. If you've ever had the chance to see that kid play. I call him a kid. He's a couple of years younger than me. What a phenomenal fucking player he was back in the day.
Is he a Spartan?
He's not, no.
Where
But
did he
trust
play?
me, he's got some knee injuries now, but he can still ball. That guy is a baller. So I like that. I like that he's watching.
The contrarian.
Wales 2-1. John Ramaya. John Ramaya, I think you've just made some enemies in this group, by the way.
He's just being honest. Come
Hey,
on,
man.
hey.
If he gets it right,
He's just starting trouble.
You're the trouble starter.
I am not in trouble. I bring the peace to the world.
Oh boy.
But I will say, I do want to say, I think we got a little bit ahead of ourselves
Yeah,
with
we
the
did.
England versus USA match.
Yeah,
which happens
the
on
first
Friday,
game in front.
Which happens on Friday. both teams have to put that game out of their mind because they both have very important games tomorrow. England take on Iran at 8 a.m. Eastern time. England's have better get their heads right. And I really think this team, unlike any other England team, is ready. They've got some players who've played in Champions League finals. They've got players who've played in the big games, have won the Premiership, have done it before. And they've got a good group of returning players from the 2018 World Cup where they lost in a semifinal. Yep. Now, the U.S. team has one player who's played in a World Cup.
Yeah, and I believe your returning coach's success rate is very poor for their second World Cup. Good job, buddy!
Wait, say that. Oh, any coach or England?
No, in general. Yeah, I think your two second-year coach usually shits the bed.
Is Yedlin the only one?
Mm-hmm. Yedlin's the only one. I don't believe Tim Ream made.
No, he didn't. He didn't make that roster.
We looked through it.
So, but I do like Nate's point that this is a young team and they do have a lot of experience in big games as in back in their club. Yeah. So yeah, they've been to Champions League finals. They've been in the Champions League. They've been in Bundesliga, big Bundesliga games, big English Premier League games. And this U.S. men's national team, they seem fearless and healthy, very healthy compared to years of past. I don't know about anybody else, but I surely held my breath last weekend when Christian Pulisic had his foot stepped on and began to limp around for the next 2 minutes. But it seems like that was nothing, and he was just playing it off. So he's good. Healthy. We are healthy. I think Zimmerman and I think Tim Ream start tomorrow. I think he goes with a flat 4. I think it's going to be one hell of a game, even though it is the World Cup. There's a lot of pressure. They are going to be good. It's going to be a hell of a game. Again, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're on Facebook. Make sure you're on Twitter, following We Are Soccer, because we are going to be chatting about it. A lot of comments. Let us know. Again, put your predictions in. We'll start the official mass thread probably later tonight or very eally in the morning for everybody to push in there.
By the way,
again, 8 a.m. Is that England-Iran game?
Iran 2, England 0.
Ooh, ballsy.
I got him.
Say?
Well, I'll do my prediction, and then I'll have to read the post that someone had. England 2-0.
I'm on that. That's my prediction as well. 2-0 England. Yeah. Harry Kane with 1 and maybe Foden with the other.
I think 2-0 Iran. Maguire with 1. And some Iran player with another.
The Iran center forward.
Yeah, Iran center forward.
He's scoring a lot of goals recently.
Harry Maguire!
Harry Maguire. Listen, if Harry Maguire... Oh, God, I don't even want to say it. Brooks, what are you going to...
Your brother, Glenn, wants to know if the three of us will be at the field house on Friday.
I will be where my friends, wherever they are, will be. I first got to go at 1 or 2 of them.
Just
Craig's like, I want to be where my brother is.
Just so everybody's aware, the Detroit City FC Fieldhouse in Hamtramck is having a watch party for the USA versus England game Friday, 2 o'clock.
Hot take. News just in.
Who's it?
Jeff Shook agrees with me. 1-0 Iran.
I like it.
Yes.
It's okay. Hey, all of us can't agree. So, I like that. Shooky mixes it up a little bit. Yeah.
Listen, if England lose tomorrow, you may not see me for a while.
When?
I said if.
When?
So that means you and I will be hosting next week.
We Are Soccer, brought to you by Nate and Brooks, where we talk only German and MLS games that are upcoming.
And the World Cup. And
we'll combine it with the Stuttgart versus Cologne game in Austin FC.
Yes.
Hey!
And then we eat creatine before.
By the way, how did that game go? I honestly do not know how that game went.
4-2 Stuttgart. Hell yeah!
Nice.
And then they all went to the basketball game, and there's pictures of them at the Houston Texans game. It was a vacation for these players. It was good stuff though.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Not the funny thing, but actually a lot of the club teams all over the world, because their domestic league has been paused due to the World Cup being in November and December, which is the first time ever that the World Cup has been played outside of June and July. Yep. A lot of the club teams have scheduled, we'll say, breaks, right? So I believe a lot of the teams are either coming here to play games, or a lot of the English teams are heading over to Spain to play somewhere. So you will see a lot of friendlies pop up without obviously the World Cup players. if a lot of those players don't make it through to the next round, they'll be back and flying out with those teams. But those teams do have to stay in shape. So you do see teams like Stuttgart flying over here playing. You'll see Villa flying over to Spain to play. A lot of different things.
Leverkusen was in Kansas City, or was it Kansas or St. Louis?
Yeah,
St.
Louis City.
Yep, they played St. Louis City.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I was like confused why they didn't play like Stuttgart or then like Cologne. Like the three of them could have did a tour, but they just basically both played 2 games, but their 1 game. Had fun, and then went home. Like I think they're still having fun. Like, why don't you do a bit of a tour?
Have fun and then head home.
Why don't you do a bit of a tour? I don't know.
One of the things that popped up this week, Karim Benzema for the French national team has pulled out of the World Cup squad due to a thigh injury. Very unfortunate. This was most likely at the age of 34 going to be his last World Cup. I feel that actually I didn't check the odds, but if anybody knows the odds of what France was projected to be at, and then once he pulled out, now what they're at, I feel like they went down because obviously a goal scorer of his caliber, Ballon d'Or winner last year. So he literally was the reason that Real Madrid won the Champions League, in my opinion. He could not stop scoring goals and creating goals for that team. He is now out of the World Cup, which is sad to say. And officially, Sadio Mane has ruled himself out, and he is not going to be participating in the World Cup, which is unfortunate. Nkunku as well.
Had they announced who replaced those two? I didn't really look.
I didn't see any. No, I didn't see any.
I was hoping for a theorem. Well, I thought they had up until 24 hours. Now it's too late. So I don't know.
It's probably too late now.
I was hoping that Theorem or Diaby
was
going
to
to
get
get
the first game. Or
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually
kinda
it's
suck.
kind
At
of
least they
sad.
That's
to
why they
see.
expanded the roster.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but in case anybody didn't know, normally in previous World Cups, the roster was at 23 people. This World Cup, it has been expanded to 26 players. And the substitution of 5 subs allowed in 3 different windows is still following through. So that's there. But unfortunately, some of the big names have left the World Cup before it's even started. Just one of those, we've talked about it. The players have been put in situations for the last year and a half of just playing non-stop soccer every week. The amount of soccer these players have played is taking its toll, and it's unfortunate that players' bodies aren't holding up. The clubs back in the domestic leagues right now who haven't sent a lot of players to the World Cup are going to benefit because their players right now are recouping and resting. If you think about a player that we've talked about it before, Erling Haaland. Norway didn't make it, so what's he doing? He's resting up. He's getting healthy for 6 weeks. He's going to be in prime form come back once the season starts.
Yes.
It's a good thing, right, for those teams. I mean, no offense when I say this, Nate, and the same for Aston Villa. Stuttgart and Villa didn't send a lot of players to the World Cup.
We sent 3.
We also sent
3.
We sent 3.
2 Japanese players, one that will captain the team, and then one that's playing on Croatia.
We sent 4. Not that that matters, but 4. But what I'm saying is they're going to be in great shape coming back, right?
Yeah.
Those club teams get to heal up.
That goes back to my theory where I said if the things are tight, the teams with less players going over there are the teams that are going to, I think, jump ahead. And that's where I look at, in my league, Bundesliga, Freiburg hopefully jumping ahead of Munich here for having a decent amount of their team being rested, and every single player in Munich is in the World Cup, every last one of them. There is no tour for Munich because they're all on touring right now.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean the 2 club teams with the most players in this tournament, Manchester City and Bayern Munich, who we kind of all expect to make the Champions League final if that route can get there, right?
Maybe.
So that'll be interesting. We'll see if those players and those clubs can hold up, because these players got a lot of soccer to play in the next 6 to 7 months before we get to the Champions League final. So lots to get to. Guys, we actually have a lot to get to on the second half of the show here. We're going to debate. You are going to see all 3 of us put together our top U.S. men's national team lineup from this World Cup and the previous 2 World Cups that the U.S. men's national team will display those. And we want to see what you guys think. We got a lot to get to, but for now, why don't we go on a little break? I want to show you a promo the Brooks and I did this week, and then grab a beer, grab some snacks, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right, Brooks. Better for soccer rod. We're just gonna do some light chopping.
Okay.
Nothing big. Ooh, pretty colors. Oh, and one of these too.
Ooh, Germany. Nate would like this.
Hey, Brooks, look at all these. Look what I got.
South America. Ooh. Wow, that's not MLS. Cool.
Socks? No.
Ooh, a ball pump.
Next in line.
Sir, you're next.
Right. That's a mannequin. You know that.
Huh?
It's
Oh.
a mannequin.
Oh. Sorry, sir.
Craig, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hopefully you got a new drink, some chips. We refilled here, and as you can see, little costume change. The boys on the other side, little costume change as well. Hydration. We are ready to go. All right, one of the things we love to do here every week on We Are Soccer is we pick a new team of the week. That is a local team that is doing very well, and we like to highlight it. So let me put up the graphic here for Team of the Week. This Team of the Week is brought to you by We Are Soccer and Michigan Soccer Central. And this week's Team of the Week, if I can find it, is the Aquinas College Women's Soccer Team. They are the number 13 team, knocked out the number 7 Central Methodist 2-1 in overtime to advance to the NAIA final site. Sydney Schenk scored extra time winner in the 100th minute to win 2-1 in overtime. So congratulations. Overall, the Aquinas women's team this year is 22-1 for the season. That is an absolutely phenomenal record. 22-1.
Yes.
That is just outstanding. I don't care what division, what league, I don't even care what sport you're playing in. 22-1?
Yes.
That is crazy. So well done to the Aquinas women's team who advanced to the NAIA site final.
Yes.
Great job by them.
Yes, and then just to add some of the just Michigan College Soccer Roundup, we'll call this, just to give some praise and some love to some other teams. Western Michigan men's soccer. After winning the MAC championship against Akron on November 12th, the Broncos have rattled off 2 huge wins against ACC powerhouse Louisville, 2-1, and then they beat the number 9 seed in the tournament, Lipscomb, 1-0, and then Western Michigan will face the winner of Portland and Oregon State in the Sweet 16. Michigan State women's soccer, they finished the 2022 college season 17-3-3. It is their most successful single season in program history. They won the Big Ten regular season title and lost to Penn State in the Big Ten tourney final. After beating Wisconsin-Milwaukee in the first round of the NCAA tournament, the Spartans lost to TCU 1-0 in the second round of the NCAA tourney. Just a quote from Jeff Hostler, "I'm so proud of this team and what they were able to do this year. For our players who played their last game, they mean everything to us, and they gave everything to us today. For the group that will return, we got a lot of experience out of this, and we found a taste for how to get things done in the postseason. If anything, we will use this to stay just as hungry for success and move forward together as a group." Congrats to Coach Hosler and the great job he's done at Michigan State after coming over from Grand Valley. And finally, Ferris State women's soccer. Usually we're talking about Grand Valley for the Division II for women's soccer, but Ferris State, for the first time in school history, they will play in the Final Four of the NCAA Division II women's soccer tournament. The Bulldogs defeated the number 2 seed Bemidji State. They won 2-0 in the Elite Eight to advance to the Final Four. The Bulldogs will play the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, Westchester University Golden Rams, on December 1st at 8 p.m. So a little love to the college soccer programs around the state of Michigan.
Awesome. Yeah, congratulations. Listen, if you have a team that you want to nominate for the We Are Soccer and Michigan Soccer Central Team of the Week, please hit us up on any of our social channels. Hit us up on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, anything. Or get in contact with Michigan Soccer Central on any of their social channels. Let us know who you want to nominate for Team of the Week. We love it. We love highlighting teams, youth teams, and college teams around the state of Michigan.
Speaking of Team of the Week, apparently the Aquinas women's team beat Qatar's men's team in a scrimmage. Now, this is according to John, and I believe him. So I'm going to go with it.
I'm going to ask John, what are you drinking tonight, buddy? I know he's a whiskey fan. He likes to partake in a little bit of whiskey and some cigars. John, let us know what you're drinking.
He's a U of M guy, right?
Let's not go there. He is.
No, he just said Hosler, best college coach in the state, and I hate MSU. So that's big words coming from Wolverine.
That is actually big words coming from John.
Yeah.
All right, we do want to chat quickly about some other quick hitters that happened this past week. We've all seen the fallout that United and Ronaldo are having. Obviously,
wait, what?
Ronaldo went on his.
There's a fallout?
You missed it.
No.
This is
what
big
happened?
News. Yeah. What happened?
What?
Well, Nate, who's
Did they extend his contract?
Complete opposite.
Was there an issue with his statue? Because there was with one, the Portugal one didn't look quite right. So maybe the statue was wrong. Was that it?
No, wasn't that. No.
Oh, well, then let me be quiet and go on, please.
All right.
I'd like to understand this.
Your beloved Ronaldo went on Piers Morgan.
Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, on national television. And shit all over United.
Oh.
Not good.
No, what was awesome about this whole thing?
What's that?
That I called this 2 years ago and said this is a bad idea because this could happen. It's all fun and games until someone gets benched or not what they really like.
It's funny, Nate. You and I remember when we were on set and we were talking about this. And we both said, "Oh, the United fans love it, but it's a terrible idea. He's going to make the young forwards of United regress." And he's older. He's not going to be able to keep up. And wouldn't you know it, on his third coach, he got benched. He's been benched. He doesn't like it. He's not getting the minutes. He's not getting the ball. You know why? Because he can't keep up. He's 37. He can't keep up with the Premiership. It's a young man's league. You put him in any league, he's not going to be able to keep up. So he went on Piers Morgan. He shit all over him. They are looking to mutually to terminate the contract. We'll see what happens. All the pictures, all the facades outside of Old Trafford are being ripped down as we speak. I know most of you guys have seen this. It's nothing new, but we wanted to mention it. But yeah, Nate's not wrong. He called this.
Yeah, well, I hate to say it, really am, but but sometimes I find the squirrel finds the nut. I will say this though, there's a lot of things he said that I think are true. And a lot of things that probably needed to be said, and probably actually said before. Well, the Glazers being crap, them not moving forward, facilities being out of date. Those are the true statements. Yeah. Then you sprinkle it in with some weird, wacky stuff that made no sense. Where he went after Rooney, where he was talking about the young players and some of them not being right. And even Gary Neville came out and was like, yeah, they're a different generation than you, dude. We were told the same stuff about our generation. This is a much different generation. Then actually, he brought up examples, and I do agree with Neville on this one. He's like, you look at what some of these young players are doing compared to what we did. We used to sneak off to the bar and no one would know. These guys can't do that. Now you got guys like Marcus Rashford, who's doing tremendous community service and using his social media persona to do that. So, anyways, it wasn't so much people point to look at all this stuff that he said that's probably true. Yeah. The problem is all the other whack stuff that was just sounded like a guy who, was just wanting to nuke the fridge and hit everything that they could because he's bitter. He came off bitter, in my opinion. And that's the problem. You got this truce and then the bitter angriness, and everyone's going to be drawn to and that's unfortunate because everyone's going to be drawn to the bitter angriness and kind of ignore the truce. He should just stuck with the truce, in my opinion.
You're not wrong, but it happens to everybody. And as Wayne Rooney came out and said this week, listen, Ronaldo's getting older, and Father Time catches up to all of us. He is struggling to understand that. Ronaldo's not as athletic. He's not as fast. He's not as quick as he used to be. He's struggling to understand that. Now there's a big fallout. And he will be gone in January. Who picks him up, we do not know, but someone's going to have to pay a lot of money to get him. Will it be the MLS? Will it be someone in Serie A? I think we all can agree maybe he should go back and play for Sporting, right? Go back to the club where you started your career at.
This is an odd one. Brooks says no way Jose in the MLS, and you might be right. He ain't coming to the Bundesliga. These Munich's come out several times. They're like, no. They're like, stop, no.
I think Ronaldo's people are putting out that, hoping that Munich pick it up.
And
right?
Munich keeps coming back and going, no. And plus, with Chapo Moting basically scoring in every single game he's played the last 6-7 starts, he ain't starting over Chapo. So I hate to break it to you. Yeah. So you're gonna go one bench situation to another. He was available in January, or not January, last transfer window. Nobody wanted him.
Nobody picked him up.
It's just kind of odd. I think what he's hoping is that he somehow has a really good World Cup showing, and he can point to that, say, look, I still got it. It's just these guys are crap, so come get me because, look, I still got it. And I think that's what all this was about.
Do we expect him to have a halfway decent World Cup? Because I don't think he should even start.
I don't think
on
he
the
should start
World
either.
Cup team. I think he's going to harm that Portugal team. To be honest,
Yeah.
He shouldn't start there. I think he's done and dusted. He needs to hang it up. He will make a lot of money if he comes to the MLS. I think the MLS will try to get him. I know there's some legal ramifications that could possibly come up because of things he's done here in the past. We won't go into that right now, but we will see. I think he just needs to figure out, listen, he's got another year left, and he needs to be done and just hang it up and go do what David Beckham's doing. Go buy a team. Go buy a new team. Go do something. Go be a sponsor of this or that. Trust me, you'll still get a lot of money. You'll still find a way to stay in the spotlight. It's just not going to be playing anymore. So
You telling me that, like, sports organizations can't just throw money at stuff and make things kind of go away every now and then? I think, I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right, another big thing that came out, news story that came out this week. Brentford striker who missed out on the World Cup, he was not selected for the English national team, Ivan Toney. He was overlooked for the England national team. We think it might be because the English Football Association has been investigating him for around 7 months because of 232 betting bets he's made or been involved in or done something with. We don't know the full story yet, but apparently he's been betting for 7 or 8 months, for a long time, but has been investigated for the last 7 months. And the English FA have him down for around 232 different bets that he's placed and participated in around somehow, whether it was on Brentford to win, lose, draw, him to score, whatever it was. The rumors come out that he didn't put anything on his teams, but he was just betting on other stuff. Begs the question, is that why he was overlooked for the English team? Was he not good enough? He actually came out and said that this wasn't why he was overlooked. I disagree. I think he may have been on the short list for the team, and the English FA came back and said, Gareth Southgate, yeah, you can't take him. Sorry, he's being investigated. And now once the squad was released, now they've come out. What's a little weird is they've been investigating him for 7 months. Why did they not just come out when they first found this and said, listen, you've been betting, you need to stop? Why did they let it keep going on? It's a very strange story. I will tell you right now, if he is found guilty, he may be banned. He may be banned fully from the Premiership, from any English soccer, so he may have to go to a different country to play, which is unfortunate because he is a very, very good player. He may be banned and made, what's the term I'm looking for, boys? An example of. The English FA may make an example of him. Tell the rest of the people, you cannot bet. In any professional sports, you are not allowed to bet. This is something we all know. Nate, you looked like you were going to...
What if the man was just betting on himself because he believes in himself?
You might believe in
Come
himself, but you unfortunately can't do
Well, maybe he took the term as, someone was like, hey, you need to bet on yourself, and he took it literally. We don't know this for sure. I mean...
Oh, I like that. But
yeah,
you're not wrong.
You got to bet on yourself, man. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know what I'll do. All right, we have a nice debate we're going to get to shortly here.
Is it a debate or is it just a discussion?
I'm so antsy right now.
You know what?
I don't think it's a debate.
Let's call it a discussion.
Like you want to turn it into a debate, but I don't like. What are you going to be like? No, your fictional lineup that has never happened and done before is wrong.
Well, I mean, we can go with this team. We can talk about? Do we think they'd make it far in the World Cup if this team was a team and they could all play, in the same era?
This team, this year, no. The actual team that's
team.
going. No. This actual team that's going is going to win the World Cup. I already said that.
Go ahead, Craig.
Let me put some context.
Yeah, ram it,
All
Craig.
Right.
Ram it hard.
2022 U.S. men's national team, 2014 U.S. men's national team, and 2010 U.S. men's national team. We took the rosters of all 3 of those World Cup teams, and we decided that each one of us individually, without knowing what the other picked, we were going to pick the best lineup out of all those players. Now, it's with players in their prime. So a prime 2010 U.S. men's national team can make your lineup, and a player in his prime in the 2022 U.S. men's national team can also make that lineup. For instance, you may have Pulisic in there right alongside Dempsey, right? And obviously, Dempsey doesn't play now, but in his prime in 2010 and 2014, he was there and he was a good player. Yes. So Brooks put his top 11 together, Nate put his top 11 together, and I put my top 11 together. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you who we picked. You let us know if you disagree and who your top 11 could be. Now,
who's going first?
I've got it lined up.
Okay.
Don't you
Wow.
worry, boys. I've got it all teed up here. Let me see.
Ooh.
All right. We're going to show you. This is Brooks's lineup. Brooks, you're first. All right. So, Brooks, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you've got in your 11 here and why you picked them.
Okay. Well, obviously Tim Howard from those past. I mean, listen, 2010 and 14. It's a no-brainer.
I'm going to tell you right now.
It's
I've
a
looked at
no-brainer.
all of our squads. All three of us have Tim Howard as our goalie. And if anybody in the group, everybody online watching right now disagrees with that, you let us know why, because you've got three people right here in the same room that picked individually Tim Howard as the starting goalkeeper.
You just gave it away to everyone. You should have just let
I mean that's got to be a unanimous pick, does it not? Is he not the best goalie to ever play?
Yeah, it's got to be a unanimous pick. Can you take Guzan off mine, please?
Yeah, done.
Just real quick, edit it.
Anyways, okay, so mine. So I'll explain my reasoning. Okay, so I went with the 3-5-2. Okay, so Howard as my keeper, John Brooks as my left center back, Jay DeMeritt as my center back, and Walker Zimmerman as my right center back. Okay, so the two outside guys, apparently they have all the questions of why Jay DeMeritt and Graham Zusi. But so Brooks and Zimmerman, the two good ball-playing center backs, can move, good in the air. They give us an advantage. Okay, Jay DeMeritt. Okay, did Jay DeMeritt not play with Watford and get them to the EPL and probably what everyone considers is the biggest game ever in probably the country or in the world? Like, that's one of the biggest promotion games ever to get promoted into a top league like the EPL.
It is actually the richest game to ever be played every year, the richest game. So you are not wrong there. There's so much pressure on that game.
There is. And he scored a huge goal in that game to get them into the EPL.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now,
do you know the story of Jay DeMeritt? Do you know how he got to England?
Not 100% to be honest.
Okay, so this is a kid that grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, played for UIC. You know what I mean? Tried for the Fire. The Fire didn't want him. Him and a buddy went over and just he had a buddy that played at UIC, and they lived with him over in Europe back with his family. And they would just they would knock on doors to clubs and just go get for tryouts. And we're talking like Wrexham type teams, like 5th Division, any team they could get on that could pay them and they could play in matches. Well, so happens as they finally found a team and they were playing one of the lower, maybe not championship, but League 1 or League 2 teams. And he got seen and scouted. So there you go. And then eventually Watford buys him. So he had to work his way up from the bottom of essentially pro soccer, and he got to the top. Why would you not want a player in your World Cup lineup that had to deal with adversity and understands and had to be in a physical league, had to battle with top players? Why would you not want him in your starting lineup?
Well, because I think there's better players, but that's just
okay. That's fine.
Who are you arguing with?
Huh?
Who are you arguing
Am I arguing with?
I was in a conference call once, and somebody was like, this guy was going, you prove me wrong. Somebody prove me wrong. And no one was actually saying the guy was wrong. I don't think anyone said, Jay DeMeritt, the fuck are you thinking? I mean, I am great information.
I am backing up why I made my decisions.
Okay, that's fine. But
all right. Tell me why you
came off like someone said you were wrong. No one said you were wrong on this one.
Yeah. You've got Beasley, Musa, Aronson, and Zusi as your other four alongside Adams there.
My only question is Zusi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to hear your reason.
Was Graham Zusi not one after he made the transition from the midfield to the outside back position? Probably one of the best MLS outside backs, and then he did make that transition in the World Cup, I believe, to an outside back. He did not play in the midfield.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
But if I look at this, because that spot,
yes,
even in this formation, wouldn't Tim Weah be a better option there?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Graham Zusi can, with both feet, he can dribble
You think
inside
he's
the
better than
game.
Tim Weah?
He's a better, yes.
You think he's better than?
Yes. He can whip in a ball better than Tim Weah.
He's better than Pulisic?
Yes, he will track back and defend. Both of my wingbacks will track back and defend.
Tim Weah doesn't track back? He's better than Fabian Johnson?
Yep.
All right. That's a hot take.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
So Adams and then the three midfield. I don't have McKennie because I think Aronson and Musa are better than McKennie, and I think Adams is the guy you want to put in as a 6.
I like Adams.
John comes in with Zuzi Blow.
Of course he does. And then Dempsey and Altidore are my 2 up top. So you can let Dempsey do it.
I cannot believe you have Altidore.
He's a huge target. Why would you not want him?
So
you can hold the ball up, play back to goal. You can let Dempsey roam around and play underneath him.
I agree with this. I almost put Altidore in there.
Yeah.
But my lineup requires a little bit different. But as a pure target forward, think about these last World Cups. Who is better than him?
Do you know how good my team is on set pieces? And the Americans have been known for their set piece goals on corners and whatnot. Plus, the movement you get with my lineup, we're going far in the fucking World Cup if this was the prime.
Demerit, Altidore, Dempsey.
Yes.
The only one you're missing is Bradley. I don't understand why you don't have Bradley
He's
in
on the
there instead
bench.
of Adams.
He's on the bench.
I was really contemplating.
He's on the bench. He's the first man off the bench.
So is Kyle
Bradley.
Beckerman. Damn it, Craig. So is Kyle Beckerman.
If I go, I see your points on
Yes.
almost everything. Actually, I almost agreed with you on Altidore, only purely because if you're talking about a pure 9, the USA didn't really have a lot of those 3 World Cups. I disagree with Zusi, but okay, whatever. See your points in Jay Demerit. All right. Your midfield, actually, I'm kind of with you at the midfield. I don't have the same players only because my midfield is a little bit different, but we're actually pretty close.
All right.
We're actually pretty close. And Beasley, I see.
He's better than Robinson. 100% he's better than Robinson. No chance. Beasley in his prime, no chance.
I don't know
No
about that.
chance.
I don't know about that. All right. Nate,
All right.
Nate, do you want to go with yours?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Going to show your lineup.
Yeah, that's not it.
Ready? Here you go.
All right, so Nate went.
No, that's mine still.
That's it.
you
Hold on,
go.
it's on this one.
Yes. There you go.
So Nate went with what he does and wins within FIFA because that was purely my game plan here. So it's a 3-2-3-2. An attack going forward, it turns more into a 3-1-2-4. So I needed highly athletic wing backs to get up and down the field and get back. So that's where I started with the Yedlin, the 2014 DeAndre Yedlin, to be precise, that used to play for Newcastle, and the this year current Robinson, right? I think they're athletic enough to do the job that I need them to do to get down the field and go. For my back line, I like Zimmerman. I do. I like him. There's something about him. I think he's great. Brooks, 2014 Brooks. That I want to make sure that's clear because he was an absolute animal. And 2010, Jeff Cameron. I liked him. He played for Stoke. No, he played for Stoke, and I contest, and I still say this. He was available for that TNT game, and if he would have played it with Trinidad and Tobago, they ain't losing that game. Yeah. He's good. I need athletic and fast center backs too to get back and to be able to cover ground. Jermaine Jones doing the job as my 1-6, and Adams doing the job as a second. So I'm running with 2 6s here. I'm basically packing the middle and then transitioning when I transitioning fast and forward. Aaron Aronson to create havoc. And again, I need that athletic attacking mid because in defense, it's going to turn more into a 5-4-1 with Pulisic and Aronson dropping in. Dempsey is kind of going to remain as my high target, and Pulisic is going to be the guy feeding off him, kind of just working together with Dempsey going forward.
Okay. All right.
Basically, Pulisic because of his athleticism and skill as well, and Harrison because of his motor. And again, Kobe Jones can't be picked, just like Tony Meola can't be picked because they weren't part of the 2010, they weren't part of the 2014, and they weren't part of the 2022. So, God damn it, Alexi can't be picked. But damn, we would have loved him on that team. But that's my general lineup and philosophy.
Really?
Philosophy here.
That's an interesting lineup from both you boys. Very interesting. I will say, I expected some of that based on our conversation last week. I really did think one of you was going to put Kyle Beckerman in the middle there.
He was very close.
I was really close. But I was
Beckerman gets nudged out by. So again, if you look at how I'm playing with my 6-6, is Adams is more technical and better, in my opinion, than Beckerman and Jermaine Jones. He's the guy going forward to join the attack. Jermaine Jones, I felt, was more physical presence and a better ball winner. He's the guy staying deep. Beckerman, he was in the mix there when I was writing this out. He got nudged out by Adams and nudged out by Jones because of that. By the way, my coach for this, there's only one man who can absolutely coach it.
For this.
My coach is A1 Jurgen Klinsmann, because we're going German style, with a Steve Trindle backup, because he used to coach for Stuttgart, because we're going Stuttgart here, baby. All right, Brooks is my statistician, and I'm going to have all the numbers to destroy all the teams. And, of course, Craig is going to be my social media
I'm your
guy.
opposition scout.
Yes, and I'm the water boy.
Wait, hold on, my coach.
Brooks, who's your coach?
Bob Bradley.
It's got to be Bob Bradley,
Bob
right?
Bradley, yeah.
What about Bruce Arena? No one Bruce Arena?
No, he's too direct for me. I know Bob can deviate. Bob can change the plan if he needs to.
All right.
Can he?
Yeah.
When did he do that?
Yes.
We got the same lineup.
Okay, Craig, they want to see yours. The viewers are calling
4-4-2. 4-4-2. 4-4-2.
All right. Here's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. I picked my team in about less than 5 minutes. I picked all the best players. Because you know what? The 2022 squad could beat any of the previous U.S. men's national team players. Any squad in the 2014, 2010, 2006, you name it. This 2022 team is one of the best ever.
Jermaine Jones would fuck your shit up.
Nope. He would get run around.
Jermaine
Jones
would
tackle McKenny, and McKenny would roll over and just
Beckerman would come up over top with multiple studs.
All right.
Yes.
Here's my team, and yes, I went 4-4-2 because that's the only formation.
That's America's formation. Goddamn
it!
That's a Bruce Arena formation.
It's a straight up English formation. 4-4-2, baby. Here we go. Here's what we got. Howard in goal. Dest, Zimmerman, Tim Ream, Anthony Robinson. Robinson and Dest on the outside because they're quick and they can get up and down the line.
Did you just pull like tomorrow's lineup? You basically was like, what's tomorrow's lineup going to be?
And you know what?
Why'd you put Tim Ream on the right side? He's left-footed.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. That's okay. Swap
Fuck your feet,
They're
Brooks.
so good.
So besides Tim Howard and Dempsey and Donovan,
by
the way,
I hate that I had to put Dempsey in here. I fucking hate that I had to put Dempsey in here. Hate it. But here's what you got. You need him because he'll fucking do some dirty work. Donovan.
Yeah, Robinson has a right back too.
Donovan is probably the best forward we've ever had. Okay? The guy can score goals. He's a leader. Dempsey's a leader. I hate that I had to put Dempsey in there. Pulisic, you need him. Tyler Adams to muck it up. He'll play a 6. And then McKenny is your offensive because he can spread the ball around. And I think, and he hasn't played there enough. He played there in a game a couple months, 6-8 months ago. I can't remember which game it was. And he was phenomenal for me. Weston McKennie in the middle was absolutely phenomenal. And Gio Reyna, I think he's got a ceiling of anybody. There's no ceiling high enough for that kid. He is going to be a player. Straight 4-4-2, speed. Speed, baby. Zimmerman and Ream manning the middle. You ain't getting past them. Zimmerman's quick. Ream will go for anything. I'm telling you right now, that's your team. That's your team. You're welcome.
Everyone hates Josie Altidore. Apparently, I
don't hate Josie Altidore.
Fuck Josie Altidore.
BJ thought you were going to put yourself on the lineup.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I would put myself in the English lineup.
Yeah.
I did.
Really?
I haven't represented the U.S. men's national team, but I was very close.
Really? I don't know. How's that possible when your birth certificate says USA all over?
No, it does not. My birth certificate.
What is your passport? What color?
I've got
What color is your passport?
Now,
the active one. The one that allows you to do things.
Does not say USA on it.
So Kurt apparently is all in with your 442 as his license plate says 442.
Yes,
goal.
Kurt. Hey, you know what, everybody? We mentioned earlier the Michigan State women's team and the great job that Coach Jeff
they
Hoffler
did play
has
4-4-2.
done. They play a 4-4-2.
Yes.
telling you right now, that is the formation. All this other bullshit, 4-3-2-1, 4-3-3.
You kids in your fancy formations.
I know.
Back in my day, we had a sweeper
4-3-3
keeper.
would get exposed by a good 4-4-2.
Hey, sweeper stopper 4-4-2. All you youngsters with the threes and the
Michael
twos
Tyson was
and
like, was Craig the only one with Donovan? And
yeah.
Do you,
I'm curious
do you disagree, Mike? Does anybody disagree with having Landon Donovan as a forward? Tell me you disagree with me.
I am
If I'm
curious
picking him over
of the
Pulisic?
viewers of the three.
Pulisic
of
was
the-
in my lineup.
I'm the three lineups. I wonder who each of the viewers right now they think would go the furthest in the World Cup.
Actually, put it this way. All three of our lineups, if they had to play against each other, who's winning? Guess what? Speed, creativity, and goal scoring is beating those two lineups easy.
What are you doing? Your team's going to sit in and bunker against everyone. You're just going to play
Where
the
did
counter.
you not see speed on mine? I took the 2014 DeAndre Yedlin, who was lights out, grease lightning fast, and Robson, who's fast, and Aronson, who's super fast, and Pulisic, who's super fucking fast, and Dempsey's goddamn fast. Those guys
Dempsey was not fast.
Are you kidding me?
Dempsey was
creative.
fast.
I wouldn't say he was fast.
strong,
Creative,
not
technical,
fast.
strong, and yeah.
Not fast.
Well,
Anyway.
apparently Brooks's team is not going to be doing too well because
Apparently, everyone hates because Altidore.
Brooks's team got beat by MSU's women's team in a scrimmage. According to again, and I don't know for sure, but I'm not going to refute it. Coming from John, I think he knows his stuff. He is the man. He is our scrimmage consultant. He has a lot of info on these scrimmages going on.
He does. John, I tell you what, John, very good. One item I do want to get to this week, boys, we had a good question come in this week from someone who was watching and listening. Michael Tyson, thank you very much for participating. Brooks, do you want to give the context around what he wrote to us and put us in a little group and said?
Yeah, on Facebook,
tell us what Mike asked, and we kind of put some of our thoughts in there, but we've expanded upon it a little bit. Go ahead and tell us what he asked us.
Yeah, so it was a good question by Mike. Mike's like, if you have a top player, domestically
Youth player here in America. Yep.
Wherever Europe or United States or wherever, I think specifically the United States, where would you send him to? MLS Academy, Bundesliga, EPL? Like, what's the best destination if the kid is a top player, and what's the best pathway?
So let's put one of our children, right, Brooks, one of your future children that you'll have with your future supermodel wife that you end up marrying. Nate, one of your children, or my children. I've got a 9-year-old son. He's an all right player. Let's say one of our kids gets to the age of, you want to put, say, 14 or 15, and they are one of the top players in the state, and we feel they could be ready to make that next step. Where's the path? What is the best route for that player? Now, every pathway is different. Every kid is different. We understand that. But is it keeping them here in an MLS academy? Is it taking them to Europe, specifically the Bundesliga or Bundesliga 2? Is it to an EFL, a championship team in England? We all kind of have different thoughts on this. Brooks, Nate, would you boys want to go first? Where you think a 14 or 15-year-old, we'll say male boy, where should he go if he wants to? If he ultimately does want to be a professional player, where should he go? What should he do? What's the path route?
So I'm going to take the very broad topic and just kind of talk about the different situations.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I'm out there evaluating players and just talking with people within the game and the top agents that represent top players and whatnot, I think people need to understand is when you're an American, the American culture is very different from what it is in Europe, where the goal of a top, especially in England, a top player that's a youth player, he wants to get into a academy for one of the pro sides, and usually you give up school and you focus on soccer, so it's a lot different. Whereas in American culture, education is still very valued. Not to say not in Germany or England or in Spain or whatnot. It's not valued in education. But there's a lot to consider, and the game is still very new in the United States. Even though MLS has been around 25 plus years, plus NASL and indoor soccer and such. So, but you need to take into account that the grass is not always greener on the other side if you have a top player, and if the answer is always to a Bundesliga academy or an EPL academy or a La Liga academy side, that's not always the best option.
I get that. I absolutely get that. I think there's some examples of kids recently who have failed when going over to those leagues, right? And they've come back, and they've taken their lumps and they've come back. But there's also some success stories. Nate.
Yeah. I wasn't done.
Oh, well, all right, continue.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing for me is when a top player is talking about this, with the family and whatnot, there needs to be discussions of, if the player is going to go over on his own over to Europe, can he handle it? There's a lot of players that have won over that can't do it. They end up bouncing around and they come back, and their career's done because of injury or whatever, or, it just doesn't work out and they come back. Sometimes coming back is a good thing, as we've seen with Leon Flock, who was over in with FC St. Pauli. Absolutely. He's kind of rejuvenated his career at Philadelphia Union. So the answer for me, and I'll just get down to it and we can talk about this another time and get more in depth, is every player has a different pathway. Europe can be it, yes, but also an MLS Academy can be it. You can come through that to the reserve team, to the first team, or it could be an MLS Academy to the college program, to USL, to an MLS. There are a lot of different pathways, and for me, there's not one right answer.
Sure, there's definitely not one right answer, right? But if I had my choice with my son in the next couple of years, I know which way I would go. Nate, do you want to go, or would you like me to go first?
You can go.
All right. Obviously, there's a lot involved with it. If I would like to send my son or anybody I know over to Europe, you got to get either visa, work permit. You got to have the right documentation. You just can't go over there and live and play. There has to be documentation. I personally think the success stories of Pulisic and Gio Reyna are two to highlight. Now, in the last couple of years, Gio Reyna specifically, his dad was working in the MLS and working for U.S. Soccer, and probably saw that the pathway through in an MLS Academy or here in USA wasn't quite the right fit, and it wasn't going to be, I would say, quick enough for his son. So Gio Reyna went over to the Bundesliga and played there, and wouldn't you know it, a hell of a success story. The kid's 19 now, and that for me is a good example. There was someone high up in U.S. soccer, and he still sent his son to Europe. Europe is a pathway that I think it's either going to be make or break. Christian Pulisic went to the Bundesliga, went to Borussia Dortmund for a reason. He's come out and said this in an interview. I went there because they didn't know me. They didn't treat me like a superstar. Here in America, at 15 years old, I was treated like a superstar. He goes, I went over there and they made me clean the boots of the first team players. They didn't care how good I was. I had to earn it. And even if you are the best player at 15 or 16 years old, there's still things you have to do, and you learn your way up. You learn the game properly. That pathway and that right there just shows me that, I'm sorry, the real pathway to being a successful player, professional player, is through Europe. I still think there is a route here in America through the MLS academies. I think it's a good route, but if you have the option of heading over to the EFL or the Bundesliga or Bundesliga 2, that's something you don't pass up. If someone over there in Europe is giving you an opportunity at a very good club, such as a Borussia Dortmund or a Bayern Munich or an Ajax or a Burnley or something like that, that is something you cannot pass up. That's just my personal feelings.
Not Man United, Burnley.
Not Man United. No, I went with an EFL team.
Sorry, my bad.
I mean, I couldn't, to be honest, any Premiership team comes in for a 15, 16-year-old kid, you go. You pay your own way. You walk there if you can, underwater to get there. An EFL team comes in, you still go. An EFL team is a great pathway forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like you said, visas are very tough to get. People don't understand when you want to play in England. That's why people go to Norway, where it's easier, Germany, easier to get a visa. Yeah. People don't understand in England, that's the path. No, you need it's a whole complicated system that people think it's so easy you've been spotted, but it's not. Yep. Because people don't know the FIFA rule is that in order to go over to Europe, unless your parents are moving for job purposes, you have to be 18. Wait to 18 to get over there. So it's very difficult to make the jump, for those European countries.
Actually, the funny thing is, Ethan Horvath, his parents
Yes.
actually took jobs
Yes.
at the local club as janitors, I believe, in Norway. They took Club Bruges. It was funny. The counterattack guys were calling it Club.
No, it was Molde.
Brugge.
No, it was Molde.
Was it Molde?
Molde in Norway.
Mold.
Yes,
Club
Molde. Yeah. Mold,
I
yeah.
thought it was Bruges.
Yeah.
No, either way, one of them.
No.
They were on counterattack. We're pronouncing the names completely wrong. Anyway, but the club did say, listen, in order for your son to come play at the age of 16, you guys have to be employed. So we'll give you jobs as janitors around the facility. And they took that. The parents took it, and now he's playing. Ethan Horvath is on the U.S. men's national team squad in the World Cup. It worked out for them. It very well could not have worked out for them. But anyway, Nate.
So, you guys got the question wrong,
Okay.
according to Michael.
We did, yeah.
Is that the question, though, is
we
if
didn't
your
pick.
kid could
Yeah.
make it and you could choose the pathway, which would you choose? So he's speaking in fictitious fantasy terms. Because in
Yes.
reality I don't think there is a perfect or right pathway.
Like I answered.
Yes. So
Yes.
that's the reality of the situation.
So I have to answer the could.
There,
Sorry.
it depends on it's such an individualistic type thing.
Yeah.
An example of, outside of soccer, imagine walking into a locker room and no one's speaking your language, period, or talking to you, period. And that's some of the stuff that you might have to deal with as a foreign player in Europe. So with that said, that's the reality. So some players can handle it, some players can't. Some players need time. Some players need to develop in college or this or there. Anyway, so the real life answer is there's no perfect or set thing. Now, fictitious awesome answer where my kid's just the best ever, super Pele Jr., Ronaldo, Janulus the third, who like everyone's like, sign the contract please, and we've already got the visas, and your kid also speaks all the languages and all the things all the time. I would pick probably Germany. I would say the Bundesliga has a track record of playing and starting young players and developing a lot of talent, and that'd be his best shot. And I'd pick a middle to lower end team, where he can grow and develop and be a part of the starting squad. That's my fictitious, non-sexy, short, awesome answer.
So I guess for me, I would stay local. So I would do MLS Academy. And then if you don't have the option to sign a second team contract with your academy, so if you're good enough to USL or into college, and then if you can leave college early, you spend a couple years, you kind of build your muscle, you get stronger.
So you're
playing against
your kid's good enough. Dortmund comes knocking, and you go, nah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I personally,
Because I
personally
think,
go to Europe. I go to Bundesliga. To be honest,
Again,
go
this is
Bundesliga-
fictitious. It's not real.
I go
Exactly.
Bundesliga over any other league right now because of
Exactly.
the way they've been able to develop players, young players specifically, from all countries. What just happened on Facebook?
John wants to know how he can call into the clown conversation.
Yeah.
What?
My son is Freddie Adu. Freddie Adu, Ronaldo, Pele Jr. the third.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
I know people don't like my decision, but you don't know half the failure stories I've known of kids that have tried to do this, and it's just by signing a pro contract, you just destroy your career.
It's fictional.
Because
my kid won't fail in my fictional route.
I'm being very honest here, Nate,
But
with our viewers.
Well, if
and
you're
in
going the honest
conversation.
route, then it depends on the person and player, and there isn't a right way. If you're going the fictional route, he's going to the Bundesliga.
I'm just saying, I see kids at MLS academies that sign second team contracts that aren't even good enough for the second team and won't get into the first team, and they've just destroyed a pathway that they can go to college for a few years and then, or whatever.
I do agree with you there that a lot of players do sign a professional contract
Because they don't know in America.
and then they'll never get a free education out of it, right? Because college scholarships are still a thing, and you can still get a free education, and it is a route there. It's not quite the route that it used to be, but it is still a route. But as Nate said, listen, if you've got a 15-year-old kid and Borussia Dortmund comes knocking, or Bayer Leverkusen comes knocking at your door,
Stuttgart.
or Stuttgart might be the no, I'm just kidding.
How dare you? Freddie Adu Ronaldo Pele Janulus Jr. the Third is going to win the league with Stuttgart in FIFA tonight.
But when those teams come knocking, it is hard to turn that down. It is really hard to turn that down because it could be their only opportunity, right? And as we know,
but you can't
it takes
think
a lot
that,
of luck.
Though. It does. It takes a lot of luck, but you can't think that. And it's just, I don't know, that's just me. Like I said, I've heard a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things happen, and there are a lot of kids that just end up failing. And they, it's like, oh, I'm going to go play this Division 2 team in Norway and whatnot, and it doesn't work out, and then he's got to come back. And again, then you've not played a lot. You come back to the United States. No one knows who you are. You've never played enough games. You're not going to get picked up by a USL team or a League One or Championship. Or, and Nice is not even good enough at the point where everyone's like, oh, you play in Nice and you're a superstar. Like, no one wants to pick you up there. Like, I'm telling you the reality, people. Like, this is the reality. Right. Like, I'm coming at you with the reality of what I know and what I've heard and what I've seen. So, you can easily ruin your career by making the wrong European decision.
There's a lot of different pathways these days. A lot more pathways now than ever before. I can tell you 20 years ago, there was literally one, maybe two pathways, and they were not as glamorous or as easy to find. I know a lot of players who could have gone pro, didn't because they just didn't get spotted, bad luck, whatever it may be. So every kid is different. Every pathway is different, though. So
I want to say something. Everyone's shitting on Freddie Adu. And you know what? He wasn't the greatest, but goddamn, that guy has had a fucking career. All right? He was on the national team. How many players can say they were on the national team? He played in several leagues around the world, including Europe, right? Still playing now. I mean, I get it.
He was the best. He was the best for the national team because he could come in for 2 or 3 weeks, be an explosive player, and do well. He was never good over long term.
I mean, no, I'm not saying he
had a
should
decent,
be, but I'm just saying, you look at his career wasn't bad. Like, if you really look at it.
I think a lot of people kind of shit on Freddie Adu because he didn't live up to the potential that everybody said.
Well, I get that, but
he was sold. I mean, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated and drafted at the age of 14, and we were sold with here's the next great American
That's not his
player.
fault.
And he did.
That's
not his fault.
That's DC United and his agent
that we all
and his
had
sponsors.
For him.
He didn't live up to the media hype machine.
Yeah,
this is not his fault.
Not his fault.
And I mean, it might be his fault that he maybe bought into that.
But you also have to look at when was the time of MLS. It was not good. I think they had lost a few teams. They needed a story. They needed someone to push. But and you have this Ghanaian kid that wins a ticket for his family. They want a ticket to come to get a visa to live in DC. He was, and then everyone's like, "Oh, he's not his age. Like he's actually older."
He probably is 45. Like then.
Yeah. Yes. So.
But I mean, everyone's shitting on his career. I mean, like how many people can say they actually had 17 national team appearances and 2 goals? Like come on.
Michael Tyson. Freddie Adu was the Altidore of his generation.
Oh, how dare you, Mike?
Dude, Altidore
was
people
way
shit on Altidore so much.
Altidore, man.
You know what?
All because of me.
You know what sucked, though? What sucked is because that whole system in 2014, they said, was based on having Altidore as their target forward.
It was, and he got hurt.
And he got hurt.
He did, his hamstring.
And I think he would have had a hell of a tournament there.
Yes.
And then Craig would have had to admit that Jurgen Klinsmann was the best national team coach. And he knows in his heart.
Wait, who did you go with for your team coach?
Klinsmann.
Me. I'm coaching.
Oh, you
I
you didn't want Bradley Klinsmann or
other idiots. I got this.
He's just walking in 4-4-2.
Yeah.
4-4-2.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I do have some other fun. For those, the World Cup has started, as we talked about. I want to show you some of the team nicknames so everybody understands. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I don't know. Which is the best? As you can see, we got
I'll tell you the best. Diamond
We got a lot of stars. We got a lot of lions. As you can see, the Saudi Arabia team, I can't even pronounce that. The Polish team, I can't even pronounce that. You've got the Denmark team, I can't pronounce that. Die Mannschaft for Germany. Then Belgium, I can't pronounce that. Eagles of, I can't pronounce that. El Tri for Mexico. Okay.
That's simple.
Croatia, I can't pronounce that. We've got Spain, La Furia Roja. Les Blues.
I like Die Roten Truffel, which pronounced the Red Devils.
the Red Devils.
Yeah.
For Belgium.
Yeah.
We got 3 Lions for England. We all know that. The Reds for Canada. Did everybody know that? Oh, and U.S. men's national team tomorrow takes
so
on
bland.
the
Stars and
Dragons.
stripes.
The Socceroos. So here you go, guys.
I think we should
Samurai
change.
de Bleu.
I have an idea. Can we change the U.S. men's national team? And I got a couple proposals. You ready?
You
Go for
want to
it.
change the nickname?
Not Stars and Stripes. You ready?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Back-to-back World War champs.
Oh, good God.
How about we've been to the moon, you haven't? Yeah? How about McDonald's? Just McDonald's. Just the
McDonald's.
word McDonald's.
McDonald's, yes. Can we change the color of the uniform to red and
Yeah.
yellow as
Can we have an arc?
This
Yeah.
one's a little bit long. It's going to be USA, we beat obesity, and now we will beat you.
Did we beat obesity?
We changed the standards.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
sure,
you
why
know,
not?
yeah.
What else is
and then
super American?
just soccer.
It's called soccer.
Soccer. Yeah.
That's the nickname. It's
Yeah.
called soccer.
Yeah.
And one last thing before we finish up for the night, guys. What app is everybody using? What app are you using to see the games?
FanDuel.com.
To learn about the games. What soccer app does everybody use? There's the One Football app, the World Cup by FIFA app,
Lame.
FOTMob. There's a lot of different apps. I personally use FOTMob.
If you're not using FOTMob, you're a rookie.
Yeah, I like FOTMob.
All about
Brooks,
FOTMob.
you use FOTMob at all?
Apparently I'm a rookie, so
You're a
there
rookie.
you go.
Is there an app you do use?
I mean, I use what was the one I was using? WhoScored.com. So they have an app that up there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good one. No,
Yep.
FootMob's a good one though. I've been on
great.
it, but
It's
it's a good one.
LiveScore is a good one as well. I use LiveScore, but
Well,
to
the
look
reason
for
why
upcoming
FOTMob is good
games-
is because it will break down where games are like on.
Yeah, they
okay.
tell you exactly
It'll
what
tell you
channel
everything
it's
you
on.
know.
Ah.
It'll tell you even like random things like, hey, how many people were in the stadium that
Oh, that's
day?
cool. That's
Yeah.
What stadium it was. It really gives you all sorts of information.
Yeah.
Yeah, FOTMob. I have found personally for most games around the world, FOTMob is the best one.
If
out
FOTMob's
there.
listening, you know, we're looking for sponsors.
some sponsors.
Yeah,
We are.
that's it.
Guys everybody who's online, watching, following along, let us know what app you use. Is it FOTMob? Is it the World Cup FIFA app? Is it what was the other one I use? One Football, that's a decent one. The Live Score. Let us know what you use. It'd be
Shook's
interesting.
about the live score.
Yes.
He's about the live score.
Who's that?
Jeff Shook.
Yeah.
Jeff Shook,
Jeff
yeah, I
Shook.
use Live Score as well. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Though I think Live Score, One Football for the news, Live Score for updated scores, and then FOTMob for when games are coming up in the future and what channel I can watch them on. I cannot tell you the amount of times people have texted me and said, "What channel is this game on?" And I just go to FOTMob, screenshot, and send it to them because it's just easier. Yeah, it tells you every streaming service and TV station that game's on. Yeah. All right, we got about a minute left here, guys and girls. A lot more soccer to get to. England, Iran tomorrow morning. U.S. men's national team and Wales tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I'm telling you right now, those are big games for the group. Big game for those nations. Hopefully both nations get a win, and that'll make next Friday's game. U.S. men's national team versus England. One hell of a game. Again, I'm going to say it now. That could be the biggest sporting event this world has ever seen. I think that game actually might be bigger than the final of this World Cup. There's so many people who want to watch that game. That's it for me and the boys. We'll send it over to the kids' table. Anything for you guys? Any last parting words?
But it's going to be really funny when England loses. And
Microphone's going to be cut off shortly.
Yes.
And it will make actually the USA versus England game way more exciting.
Yes. So I will close by saying we appreciate everyone that's been watching tonight. I think this is probably the most we've had of live viewers on all our streaming sites, and then also with the comments. We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for tuning in. I know I'm not the out the door pick. I guess I wasn't the favorite one.
Don't apologize for that. You stick to it.
Okay, I know.
I got your back.
I know.
Shut up. Yes, stats.
Thank you, though. I appreciate it, and I know all of us do.
Yes, thank you to everybody watching. Very much appreciate it. Do us a favor. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Give us a share, no matter what platform you are on. Boys and girls, thank you again. Very much appreciate it. And we will see you. We'll probably have a little bit of a live impromptu later this week. We'll be there. If you want to get involved, join the Facebook group. And again, we very much appreciate it. Thank you again to Soccer World. Visit them at soccerworld.net or any of their 3 locations around the Metro Detroit area. Thank you again to Aaron Bird at Next Level Training. Very much appreciate you and the trainers and the boys that you have helping you. Some of the best trainers, not only here in Metro Detroit, but in the country. Next Level Training. And that'll do it for us. We're out.